Nah. We have work to do. If you haven't seen my last videos, in which we beat all of Pokemon Violet with only Donut the Dunsparce, I'd recommend watching them first, but here's a simple rundown of the rules. Only one Dunsparce, only held items in battle, and use level caps. So when I recorded the last video, I did it with the intention of uploading it before the Teal mask came out, but due to some delays mostly from moving to uni, I uploaded it not long after the DLC released, meaning the ending looks a bit dumb in retrospect. And to avoid that happening again with the Indigo disc, it's time for us to take on the first half of the hidden treasure of Area 0. As soon as I boot up Violet, we get bombarded with messages from Professor Jacques. He informs us we've been selected for a trip to the land of Kitakami, and to head to the entrance hall to get started. Heading straight over, we're introduced to Briar, one of the teachers from Blueberry Academy, the other school visiting Kitakami for the trip. After some unsubtle hints about Briar wanting to visit Area 0, the students selected for the trip gather up and take a plane to Kitakami, beginning our challenge to beat the Teal mask. Just like with the main game, I have already played through this DLC on Scarlet, and I've transferred over all the Pokemon for the Kitakami Pokedex. With no motivation to catch any of the wild Pokemon, I can head straight to Mosui Town. Mosui? Whatever. And meet the two new rivals, Kieran, the shy younger brother, and Carmine, the antagonistic older sister. We are immediately launched into a battle against Carmine, whose team sits at around level 60. Unfortunately, due to the level scaling in the Teal mask, we'll be battling lower level Pokemon for the duration of this DLC. However, opponents in this seem to have generally good move pools, useful items, and decent team compositions, so hopefully this will still be a challenge. At the moment, however, these opponents have nothing to be afraid of, and a few coils and bites cleave through Carmine's low level team in no time. After the fight, the twins are scared off by the caretaker who runs the Mosui Community Center. We're allowed to rest overnight before being formally introduced to the Blueberry Academy students, and told about the task we've been set, to find several tourist trap information boards scattered through Kitakami. Because we knew the DLC was relatively short, I'd invited my friends into a voice chat to keep me company while I was playing, and as a group we had some interesting things to contribute.
I bet you could fix her.
Yeah, easily. With a hammer.
What kind?
Heavy.
Creeper?
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have been playing this while we were sleep deprived. With the formalities done, Kieran asks us for a battle to test his skills, opening with a Sentret.
Oh no, a Yanma, what are you gonna do?
You got this,
oh, wait.
Yanma. Buzz those wings. Yep.
Who left?
Holly's done.
Holly, come back.
Nice crit.
Yay, she's back.
As to be expected, considering how over-leveled we are, a coil and a few bites crush through his entire team quickly. Once he's out of the way, the land of Kitakami opens itself up to us to freely explore, so we pay a quick visit to the photographer Perin.
Perin the platypus.
Perin the platypus.
I love
An
that.
adamant
Moist,
ascendant.
but I would do it.
Perin the adamant ascendant.
The first bit of the plot is relatively boring. We just hunt down 2 of the information boards and get some exposition dumped on us. The first of the 3 boards was found just up the hill, near a monument to the Loyal 3. We're given our first bit of information regarding the ogre of the mountain, but as usual we're not here for in-depth plot, so we set off to find the second information board. The next spot is found in the festival area, Kitakami Hall. This time we learn about the ogre's masks, blah 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 photograph. Then Kieran wants to look at the ogre's den, so we trek halfway up a volcano, get violently lost, just to look at a hole in some cliffs. Hoping to lure the ogre out of hiding, Kieran challenges us once again. Despite having effectively not left our side since this morning, his team has leveled up and expanded, giving us our first actual fight. Ferret comes out first, acting as a perfect setup fodder. With just 2 coils, we're able to chew through his Ferret, Yanma and Poliwhirl, which uses haze repeatedly to reset my stat boosts. But with a bit of paralysis luck, we punch through for the win. Next we visit Kieran's home, introduce ourselves to his grandparents, and get given the brand new outfit and haircut to help us fit in at the festival. So after I've fixed my hair and clothes, we head to the shed where Carmine fails to find us a mask, and as an apology offers to battle, because apparently battling can mean literally anything in Kitakami. This battle was a tad tough as her Morpeko paralyzes us early in the fight, preventing me from setting up, but the power of friendship expels the electricity, letting us quickly coil to negate the incoming damage. With the Morpeko defeated, Sinistra comes out. Sinistra? I don't know how to pronounce any of this. Replacing the paralysis with a burn. Nevertheless, we power on, and with only a few bites, we take down Sinistra, Swadloon, and Mightyena. Smash cut to the Kitakami festival with Kieran and Carmine. Not gonna lie, I love events like this with big celebrations and food stalls. It was impressive how immersive the game felt when I was just browsing the stalls for food items. Then we got to do some ogre ousting, a minigame where you use Miraidon to pop balloons by riding through them. Again, this was actually a decent bit of fun, and we crushed Carmine's score in no time, acquiring the EXP charm. With this finished, we end up meeting the ogre, creatively named Ogrepon, who accidentally drops her mask. Carmine hides the meeting from Kieran, and we're forced to secretly work together to repair the mask and return it to Ogrepon. We take the mask to Carmine's grandfather, who reveals the truth that Ogrepon was actually a victim to the thieving nature of the Loyal 3 who stole her masks. He offers to repair a chipped jewel while Kieran eavesdrops the conversation and somehow gets completely the wrong idea of the situation. Yeah.
Which is very, very funny.
I am back!
He's alive!
God, that took so
Welcome
long
back.
to sort. What the hell happened? I
don't
was
know
trying to shout at you for talking about the pink plush thing in the shop, but it wouldn't work.
Why were you trying to shout at me about it?
Because it's just part of a chain.
What do you... No, it's not.
Part of Pokemon, that pink plush thing is
It's
not...
got a face.
What do you...
It's a completely different PNG to the other ones in the cutscene with the Loyal 3.
Oh, it's Kieran.
Um,
I'm busy.
Kieran.
Well, that's
there it is.
that does
yeah.
just look like a piece of the chain, I'll be honest with you.
It does.
It is a piece
It
of the
does.
chain.
But it's got a face. You can't tell.
Has a face?
It does.
Reach out and touch. Why is it doing that? Kieran.
Why is it doing that?
Why is it doing that?
Take that picture, please.
I'm gonna grab it. Don't be shy. Reaching for his forehead. No real new objectives are presented to us, so we hunt down the final notice board and take on Kieran once again. This time he puts up some fair resistance, as his Pokemon are generally quite bulky and I was too lazy to coil more than twice. Not that it would have mattered, as his Poliwrath knows Haze and resets my stat changes anyway. With Paralysis, Luck and Leftovers, we slowly but surely whittle through his entire team of Yanma, Poliwrath, Furret and Diplin. Kieran, clearly bitter over his misconstrued eavesdropping, sulks off alone. We return to Carmine and before we even have time... We return to Carmine, and before we even have time to catch our breath, we're sent up the mountain to collect a crystal cluster to repair the mask. The journey up the mountain is fairly eventful. We encounter a Houndoom that stands like a man. Are you supposed to be standing like that?
No,
there he goes.
Oh, okay.
Talk about my origins, investigating the conditions to make the perfect autist. As well as finding a blue-looking dog. That's a blue-looking dog! Come here, boy! Yeah! Let's go!
Well,
Hooray!
hooray!
Get in my mouth! Once we eventually reach the lake, we're tasked to fight a Melodic which jumps from the water to attack us. Fortunately for me, Carmine almost one-shots it instantly.
Feeling some type of way.
Uh,
Oh yeah, doesn't she one-shot it or something?
oh my god, I'm so not required here! With that beaten, we can grab the cluster, Briar arrives to talk about terrestrial energy or some rubbish, and then we return to fix the mask. I said there was such like a weird Texan accent for no reason. That's a blue-looking dog!
That was Boston, that was not Texas.
Ah, same thing.
No, it's not.
All of America is the same place.
Well,
Oh. Unfortunately for us, Kieran has stolen the mask before we even arrived, so we run to the Monument of the Loyal 3 where Kieran acts like an actual toddler.
see, because he's just assuming the worst immediately. And yeah,
Yeah.
laughing at me behind my back. You were listening to the conversation, you know.
That's
Oh
not
my
what
god, I hate this kid. I know they wanted to make a villain, and like I guess they did it fairly well, but I do hate him.
He looks sad because he knows he's gonna lose.
Yeah. Against your sparse.
Against my literal worm. Just like the last few battles, the main threat on Kieran's team is Poliwrath with Haze. All my coils mean nothing when they can be removed in a single move. Instead, I tank a Hydro Pump while using Glare, then roost my way back up to full health. With a few roosts, we're able to stall out the remaining Hydro Pumps, use a single coil to boost my damage, then bite a million times to take down the... What even is this thing, a frog? Alright, I should be at max stats now. Brick Break! Oh no.
What, Mom?
That got you good, huh?
Gonna turn that Poliwrath into Poliwas. I don't know.
Polly was. Unfortunately, the rest of Kieran's team end up being too strong without coil, and I'm just kidding, we absolutely smashed it, like we just beat him like on the first try. It was just pretty easy. So we take back the masks and then Kieran runs off. The three thieves from the story return from the dead, apparently. They run off towards Kitakami Hall, and I make sure to give chase after a brief shopping trip. We find the villagers have fed the three, as well as given them back the masks, then let them run off up Oni Mountain. Just... ugh. Outside Ogerpon's cave, we find the Loyal 3 seemingly attacking it, and we jump in to help. Monkey Dory challenges us first, using Nasty Plot to boost its stats, and then one-shotting me with Psychic. Okay. On our second attempt, we get lucky with Paralysis and avoid being knocked out at the cost of escaping through the floor. With Monkey Dory defeated, the other two step up to challenge me, but Carmine and Kieran arrive to provide assistance, forcing the thieves to flee. Now we have to hunt down and defeat all of the Loyal 3 to collect the masks and return them to Ogerpon. After me and my 2 children walk back down to the village. Right, catch you later. We then have to ask random citizens about the location of the Loyal 3. So I run around like a madman for a few minutes, track down a monkey, dog and bird, and head out with Carmine to defeat them. Turns out all the mochi they ate turned them into Titan Pokemon, making them intimidating threats. Monkey Dory is the easiest, as it gets paralyzed early and fails to do any meaningful damage. Pheasantipity is next, and although its ability brands us with Toxic frequently, Donut's affection allows him to expel the poison several times to avoid too much damage, despite Bite not being very effective. The battle takes a while and Carmine runs out of Pokemon quite quickly, but after dodging moves surprisingly frequently, we're eventually able to bring down the bird. Finally, Okidogi. This Pokemon was the most intimidating as its fighting type moves cleave through us in only a few hits. A couple of attempts in, it became obvious that Bite wasn't going to cut it, so I swapped back to the old move's stored power. With a few coils, a single hit does enough damage to one-shot the dog, allowing us to collect the final mask for Ogerpon. Returning to the village, Kieran has revealed the true nature of the Loyal Three to the villagers, who now accept Ogerpon and apologise for vilifying her for what might actually have been decades. Did they ever say? I mean, it, must have been a while. I don't think this cuts it, guys. We then take Ogerpon back to her cave, where she instead decides to tag along with me, the handsome protagonist. Kieran has other plans, as in a fit of jealousy he demands a literal custody battle for Ogerpon. He leads with a Shiftry, a Dark and Grass type, and I didn't remove stored power. Oops. In round 2, I actually have Bite re-equipped, so we can glare and start setting up now without worrying about our moves not working. Shiftry presents no threat, and Poliwrath flinches and gets paralysed before it can use Haze. This turns us into an absolute wall of momentum that Kieran has literally no way of stopping, and we plow through the rest of his team with not even a thought. I can't even remember what the rest of his team was. It just doesn't matter, really. He's just really bad. He just kind of sucks, doesn't he? Oh. Now that nothing stands between me and my new daughter, I'm able to start with the battle I was most afraid of. In order to beat Ogerpon, we have to battle it 4 times, once for each of its masks, and it has a fighting type move in every form. We also can't heal between battles, meaning I'm here for the long run. Once the battle starts, we hit it with Glare. We're able to set up with Ivy Cudgel doing minimal damage thanks to the defense buffs. Not only that, but early on, Ogerpon sets up grassy terrain, healing us each turn on top of leftovers. I spend 6 turns setting up Coil, at which point a single bite already does half of Ogerpon's health, and we beat its first form in just 2 hits. All our defense buffs mean that its fighting type moves no longer do any meaningful damage, and we're able to effectively sweep through all of the mask forms, taking them all down in just a few hits. The Hearth Flame, the Wellspring, the Cornerstone, and the Teal mask all fall one by one. Once they're all defeated, Ogerpon is weak and we're able to catch it in a friend ball for myself. As usual, Kieran has a little bit of a stroppy fit and then runs home crying. We return to the village and meet Carmine at the ruins of the Loyal Three monument. She politely asks for a battle against Ogerpon. Well, that's not going to happen, of course, so we lead with Donut anyway. Glare, Coil, Sweep. Mightyena, Morpeko, Ninetales, and finally Sinistra all get taken down with a few bites each. After this, we're told to return to the town, where the Blueberry Academy students are returning home. Carmine gives us a heartfelt speech and invites us to visit the academy, before finally leaving to pack. We then see Kieran, determined to become stronger and obsessed with beating us, before the camera fades to black. With that, the main story of the Teal Mask is completed. But there are still a few more things to do in Kitakami before we're ready to move on to the Indigo Disc. Mainly, I wanted to do Perin's storyline, where we find and catch Blood Moon Ursaluna. First I meet with Jacques, and it occurs to me that I never gathered the rewards for completing the Pokedex. I catch the last 2 Pokemon I need, and then... After this, we go and talk to Perin about the mission. First, we have to battle her to prove our strength, and although Donut gets put to sleep by Noctowl a few times, we're able to push through with Coils and eventually beat it, opening us up to finish her only other Pokemon, Leafeon, in just a few hits. Having now proven our worth, we're allowed to help Perin snap a picture of Ursaluna. Firstly, we head into the Timeless Woods, protect her from an Ariados, set up a tent, and wait for a foggy night to snap some pictures of the nighttime Pokemon. This is actually a cute little minigame where we sneak around getting pictures of Pokemon just doing their thing, like a diet version of Pokemon Snap. I also like how they use the Legends Arceus music for a lot of this story, considering all the ties to that game present in the characters and Pokemon. Once we're done with the pictures, we reassure Perin that her passion for photography will improve and set off to find Freddy Fazbear. This fight ends up being the actual hardest one of the DLC for me. The Blood Moon attack does significant damage, and with no way of buffing my special defense, we can only take 3 hits before we go down. This is made worse by Ursaluna knowing Calm Mind, buffing its special attack even higher. Even getting lucky with flinch and paralysis, Ursaluna is just too tanky, and it's able to get another Blood Moon off, defeating us. The next few hours of my life consist of battling Ursaluna over and over to look for weaknesses. Eventually I swapped Coil to Amnesia, allowing me to reduce the damage of Blood Moon, but then a new issue raised its head. Bite didn't deal enough damage to beat Ursaluna before it ran out of PP, and I lost the struggle damage. To be fair, it was pre-owned when I bought it. Oh, well, I tried.
Record that, clip that.
After a quick review of Donut's move pool, I swapped Bite for Ice Spinner, and after a few failed attempts, I swapped Amnesia to Screech of all things, allowing me to reduce Ursaluna's defenses and finally deal some more consistent damage, as well as replacing Glare with Yawn to keep it asleep while I use Screech. With all that done, Donut can finally deal some decent damage, ripping through the bear's health with Ice Spinner until it eventually takes one more hit and we can catch it. And there we have it! Perin takes us back to town, gives us a Hisui and Growlithe, and promises to meet us again one day before leaving. There's some additional side quest stuff with some rich people, but it's really boring, and there's no actual story to speak of, so I'm just not gonna do it. With the Indigo disc coming out on the 14th and this video hopefully releasing before then, all we can do now is wait. From what I've heard, the next DLC has far stronger trainers, so with any luck we'll face some actual challenges there, and I won't just sweep through it in an evening. But thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra!